Proszę Państwa, jeżeli macie Państwo pytanie, to bardzo proszę. Teodor, pokaż się z mikrofonem. Tutaj najlepiej do Teodora się zgłaszać. Wspomniał Pan, że często jest Pan pytany, też tutaj we Wrocławiu, właśnie o to, dlaczego Pan wybiera aktorów nieprofesjonalnych. Ja chciałem o coś innego. Jak takie spotkanie z kimś, kto będzie występował w Pana filmie, wygląda? To jest zachwyt twarzą, czy to jest kwestia, nie wiem, bliższego poznania takiej osoby, która musi Panu stać się bliska osobowościowo? Czy to jest właśnie twarz, ruch, gest, coś, co może złapać kamera? Co decyduje o tym w pierwszym momencie? Jak ten proces wygląda?
Well, it depends totally on the character they will be suitable for. There's nothing objective or external that I could say, like probably that they have big ears or something like that, you know? It's that they share some, if you want, some brotherhood with what I imagine the character to be, you know. There are faces that are more sympathetic than others, to you personally, you know, not objectively maybe. Or, I don't know, people that are more manneristic in the way they talk, or more simple, or whatever, all these kind of things that we learn to see since we are children. Well, of course you feel them. And actually, it's very curious to see how these things you think you actually feel, but I think what really happens is that you really so quickly analyze with your eyes and with your ears what is going on that you feel that you get the impression of it as feeling, but I think it's just pure mental analysis of what you're looking at. So, well, whatever I look at, if I see that suits the character, then I go for that. Basically, in this system, if this is correctly done, the system works. If you fail at this stage, then the whole thing will fail. I mean, the whole relationship with that character, and he will be miscasted. In the method I suggest of working with non-actors, that is one of the things. You cannot fail in the choosing, in the selection of the actor, because otherwise the whole character will fail. And in opposition to an actor where he can adapt to the character. Well, if he's a good actor, that's the whole point of acting.
Zdarzyły się Panu takie pomyłki absurdowe?
I think so, yes. A couple, 2 or 3. But I don't want to say who they are. No, but yeah, surely, yes. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to get better there, you know. I really think, and I hope some of you agree, that I'm trying to, you know, when I was doing, when I did Battle in Heaven, for example, I was still, and I'm still today, but at that point, I knew less than today at that level, and I didn't mind that the actors would probably be mechanical, because I thought that could go on with the film, because that wasn't the point. The point wasn't that they were acting very well or not. So I let them, or I didn't actually see probably that they were too far away from what the character should have been, and I accepted this mechanical part. Probably I was too influenced by the Bressonian theory of non-actors. But nowadays something that I have developed is that I really want them to be much closer, I mean as close as possible to the character. So in that sense, if you want, I'm very much into the correct acting, again between brackets, because I don't believe in acting, but let's say closeness, or what someone would say acting. It's closeness between the person and the character, so they are really close, and they don't distract the public, and even more than that, they really represent properly the being of the character.
Nie lubi Pan często rozmawiać o swoich filmach, ale rozmawia Pan z aktorami o nich? Albo również wtedy, kiedy oglądają gotowy film?
No, not so much really. I mean, if they asked questions once the film is finished, maybe yes, we can have a talk, of course, like with anybody else. But nothing more than that. And surely not before making the film and while making it, because it's very difficult for someone that is in front of a camera during a few months, day by day, not start identifying with the character they're representing. So they will want to start representing. I prefer, you know, in my last film I worked with my children, And that's the great work. That's how I want to work with adults also. That they're just there, you know, as if probably they thought the camera is, I don't know, a dog or something. That's really that's what some people say. No, but you always act anyway. You know, even in real life, when there's no camera in front of you, you act. And then there's, you know, this thing about I think it was Kieslowski that he shot some trials here in Poland, and apparently the judge would give a lower sentence to the criminals when he was being shot because he wanted to be nice, you know, because he was being looked at by this camera, and therefore many people. I don't know if this is true. Someone told me that. I didn't, but it must be true. Sounds like a very Kieslowskian thing to do. So, and so that's like, it's meant to be like a proof that you always act. But that's not true. That's a proof that you want to be loved, mostly. The proof that you don't always act is that I can assure you my children weren't acting in the film. And I know some adults are in front of the camera as my dogs or my children were in this last film.
Ale czy to miało, oprócz tego, że było może właśnie łatwiejsze, jak pan mówi, czy to miało też inne znaczenie, to, że są tam pana dzieci, pana psy i pana dom? Czy to w jakiś sposób nie zbudowało całego filmu?
No, I think it was just a matter of convenience. Mostly, yes. Am I answering your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, but maybe let's give them the chance.
Of course.
We can wait for 2 or 3 minutes if you want in silence. Okay.
Different taste of time.
Okay. Well, no, I was looking at my watch. No, whatever. No, seriously, don't you want to ask something? Please, because this is getting too deep here.
Tak, bo będziemy tak coraz bardziej będziemy drążyć, także będzie coraz trudniej. Oh yeah, great. Thanks.
Bardzo przeżyłam pana film Światło, proszę mi pomóc.
Ciche światło.
Ciche światło. Natomiast przyznaję się, dzisiejszego nie zrozumiałam i proszę o pomoc. To jest ten, co pan nie pozwolił tłumaczyć na polski po łacinie. Ja rozumiem, że po ciemności światło.
So that I didn't permit to translate the title. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but what can I say? I feel satisfied that I made this film, this last film, even though it is maybe more difficult to understand. But I feel it is there. It is clear, clearly there. But maybe it will take some time for you to feel it and like it. Maybe you never will. But maybe if you want, just if you are very generous, maybe in 6 months you can have a look at it again and maybe you will like it. The whole point is, maybe not. I'm not saying that you, yeah, whatever. What I'm trying to say is that certain things that we don't understand directly aren't necessarily less interesting. Yes, I really cannot try to convince you that you have to like it, you know. I cannot say much. But some people, maybe you should discuss with someone that liked it, and maybe he can tell you why it maybe is good. It's a film that has many layers in it, you know, like marriage and childhood and the loss of innocence and desperation of a society and colonialism and the clash between the Western monotheist world and the pre-Hispanic pagan multi-god world, and a lot of things in there. But yes, not everybody can like everything. That's the conclusion for me.
Czy mi się wydawało, czy mamy jeszcze tam drugie pytanie było? Do we have another question? Tak, nie. Tak? Okay, Teodor?
Yes,
Nie
there's
wiem.
someone by-
Yes, I can see.
O, jest pan okrutny.
You're cruel.
Cruel.
Znaczy, od dłuższego czasu wybieram się do Ameryki Południowej. Tylko to trochę kosztuje. No, ale ponieważ pan nie chce mi pomóc, to chyba jednak będę musiała tam pojechać, żeby zrozumieć ten film.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nie,
There's someone there that wanted to ask a
Okay.
question.
Ja chciałem tylko powiedzieć, że nie mam żadnych pytań. Uważam kino pana Reygasa za kino totalne. Ale to chyba wszystko.
Thank you.
Trudno po takim stwierdzeniu powiedzieć, zadać pytanie. Może tym, że jest nas dwóch, którzy tak uważają, tak? Bo ja się z panem absolutnie zgadzam. Nie wiem, czy to będzie jakaś wskazówka dla pani, najwyżej pan Carlos zaraz każe skończyć spotkanie, ale poszukajmy jednak tych tropów, które mogą coś podpowiedzieć. Wydaje mi się, że nieprzypadkowo pana poprzedni film nosi tytuł Ciche światło, a ten nosi tytuł Post tenebras lux, czyli też światło po ciemności. Czy zgodziłby się pan, że te dwa filmy właściwie są w jakimś sensie opowieściami o takim wiecznym siłowaniu się ciemności ze światłem, co oczywiście widać pięknie w tej długiej, otwierającej scenie w cichym świetle, kiedy obserwujemy wschodzące słońce. Czy to jest jakiś, czy można powiedzieć, że to jest jeden z właśnie głównych tematów, tropów, które gdzieś w tych filmach obu są zawarte?
Yes, to a certain extent, yes. Light and darkness, not in the sense of necessarily good or evil, or
Of course.
but in the sense of cycle. Yes, for sure. In the sense of duality, and not necessarily cyclic duality, but contemporary present duality. So yes, both films, and I think all my work is very much about that struggle we are always in between what we have to do and what we want to do, or what our limits.
What is happening to us also.
What is happening to us? Yes, for sure. And in Silent Light, yes, it's some kind of moral external duty, and then the duty of the heart somehow that are struggling. But it looks like it. But I think Silent Light even goes deeper, because in the end, I think it's more just about confusion. Because I think what is happening to that man is that he's confused rather than he cannot fulfill his real desire. I think what he thinks his real desire is just an illusion. But well, that's for that film. And then the last film is very much about this darkness, in the sense of unsatisfaction while having everything. What we can say, everything, like health and food and young age and money and even children and maybe social recognition, but being in solitude and being unfulfilled, unsatisfied, which is probably the main sickness of the world today, at least the Western world. And how this, in places like Mexico that are two worlds in the same place, how this works and how this clashes with another kind of vision of the world, which isn't an ideal vision either, especially in a place like Mexico that is a society that was destroyed many years ago and abused and basically raped. And then there's something else which is not like an opposition to the West, an Eastern way. It's a different thing, and how these things don't manage to work together, and why and what happens when this doesn't manage to work together for such a long time. And maybe what the film is about in another level, because there are many levels, but in a certain level, is about the desperation of the society now, which is basically a spiritual desperation, in my opinion. People talk about the drugs and the American market and why the routes go through Mexico, and if the president is doing well or not, fighting the drug lords with weapons and force and all these things. But in the end, I think that is important. It has to be solved, but it's the superficial level. In the real important level, I think it's all about desperation. That's why a country of peaceful people, traditionally, happy people in general terms, or people that have a facility for happiness, are now cutting each other's heads, and sometimes even with chainsaws and really horrible things, you know. And like the kind of thing that you would have to ask about Cambodia in the 1970s, when they were killing so many people, these peace-loving people, you know. This is what is really happening in Mexico, and the whole film is talking about that in a way also. Yes, all these things are there. But yes, yes, I'm like now explaining certain things because we could discuss a lot of things at that level too of the film. And then someone said to me yesterday, "I know what your film is about. Don't tell me what I know. It's about this." And she said this, and I agree with her. Also, she said it's about the loss of innocence. How children at that age, we all children are connected with the love of our parents, the sound of the water coming out of a sink, the smell of our linen at night, our blankets in the bed, how the roof looks, the love of life, animals, and the fear too, and the dreams, and how you are still connected, and how, as we grow older, we detach ourselves from the world, and then it's like we've been expelled from paradise. And I agree, it's about that also. And someone says it's about marriage, about how much we confuse infatuation with love, but how love in reality is more of acceptance, tolerance, companionship, acceptance basically, you know, and I'm just being there. And how it's all about that great patience that you need for a love to go on through the years or age or something like that. It's also about that. So that's why I couldn't answer the question like it's about this.